So, I have a huge confession to make. In regards to this video that was requested by one of the proud members of the Sakurai clan, Jotaro versus Kenshiro, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and the Fist of the North Star, I have a confession. Not only did I watch this death battle before because I was curious, but I have yet to watch either of these animes. I know. How could you do that and you watch the death battle already? Yeah, I am a very, very procrastinative asshole. I was supposed to have been watching both of those, plus My Hero Academia, the second season this weekend. I have not gone around to it. I could have watched the whole daggone thing yesterday. Sounds wrong with me, y'all. Sounds wrong with me. Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna react to this death battle featuring Screw Attack, and then we're gonna be doing another surprise of it because of the fact that this death battle apparently is very short. So, without further ado, let's have another look at this.
We've covered a lot of macho heroes here on Death Battle, but these two are as manly and stoic as they come.
It's all in those sweet-ass jackets. I mean, I guess they're pretty badass, too.
Jotaro Kujo, the delinquent turned hero from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And Kenshiro, the wandering fist of the North Star. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. As a teenager, Jotaro Kujo was a fairly infamous troublemaker.
But you can just call him JoJo like his friends do. Get it? Jotaro Kujo.
How bizarre.
Well, being a high school hoodlum isn't usually a good idea. It worked out great for him, because he toughed up a lot.
At the age of 17, Jotaro was arrested for brutally pummeling 4 known gang members.
So he's 40 years old.
Knives and nunchucks of all things,
okay,
with apparently his bare fists. But Jotaro had a bigger problem. He didn't know how he did it.
He knew he was tough, but not that tough. So he came to the only conclusion that makes sense. He was possessed by an evil spirit!
Whoa. Just like my pet rat.
Yeah, wait, is that why he's been scratching pentagrams all over his cage?
You'll find out. But then Jotaro did something absolutely crazy. To prove his theory, he swiped a police officer's gun, pointed it straight at his head, and fired.
And that's how he died. Just kidding! A third arm popped out of his body to stop the bullet, of course!
This strange being attached to Jotaro wasn't an evil spirit at all. It's an entity physically generated by Jotaro himself and inherited through his bloodline.
Yeah, lots of the JoJo family has them, including his granddad, Joseph.
These beings are called stands, literally because they stand by you.
Man, I guess it's not wrong.
It's so lame.
Stands are powered by their user's life force, and turns out Jotaro's life force is supercharged because he's got one of the strongest stands of all, Star Platinum.
Star Platinum has superhuman strength, speed, precision, and vision. He can even phase through bodies and affect a person's inner organs. Plus, while Star Platinum can take a solid hit, most stands can only be damaged by other stands or stand users.
So he's basically invincible unless he's fighting another stand?
Exactly. In fact, unless you have a stand of your own, you wouldn't even be able to see Star Platinum.
Oh great, so he's invincible and invisible.
Yep.
And when you combine all that with Jotaro's fighting skills and exceptional cleverness, they make a magnificent team.
That's good, because Jotaro soon found out his family's old vampire nemesis was out to get him. Dio!
With Star Platinum at his side, Jotaro didn't just stand up to Dio, he copied Dio's greatest ability, the Time Stop.
With this new power, Star Platinum can freeze time everywhere for 5 seconds. He can do it multiple times, though it does need a sort of recharge between uses. Kind of like an ability cooldown in a video game, or me in the bedroom, ladies. but still, he can friggin' stop time.
In Jotaro's case, he may be human, but he's strong enough to smash through stone and leap several stories. On the other hand, Star Platinum is said to be faster than light.
Sure. Technically he can because he can stop time or whatever, but he can't really move that fast normally, right?
Well, maybe. Star Platinum has matched his speed with another stand called Silver Chariot. Silver Chariot previously defeated a different stand called Hanged Man.
Long story short, Hangman moves between reflections at light speed, and Silver Chariot caught him in mid-movement.
Granted, Silver Chariot had to use an elaborate plan to force Hangman into moving in a predictable direction. If Silver Chariot was truly faster than light, he wouldn't have needed to resort to such a plan. But the fact he caught Hanged Man at all is proof enough that he's at least close to light speed.
So that means Star Platinum is close to light speed too, and he's got the super strength to back up his super speed. He can lift a steamroller that's around 60 tons. He broke the top of this building off and threw it like a javelin. And then there's the time that he broke a giant monster lady's teeth that were harder than diamonds.
The definition of hardness refers to an object's protection from scratches, but we could also compare this to pressure resistance, or the possibility of fracture through a diamond's cleavage. Not that kind of cleavage. The toughest diamonds break around 600 gigapascals. This means Star Platinum can clearly strike with a force equivalent to 3 million tons.
Turns out diamonds aren't forever when Star Platinum's around. What can't this guy do? Sounds like nobody could beat him.
Maybe not, but unlike stands, Jotaro isn't invincible or invisible. And whenever Jotaro is hurt, Star Platinum feels the same pain. In fact, when a stand user dies, so does their stand, and vice versa.
Sure, but with a guy like Star Platinum having his back, I don't think Jotaro has a whole lot to worry about. These two are one kick-ass duo, and stylish.
Your receipt. You can keep the freaking change.
It's the last decade of the 20th century, and the world has been ruined. In this apocalyptic age, the strong survive, and the weak kneel. Only one man challenges this new society, and fortunately, he has the literal power to do it.
Kenshiro, Fist of the North Star.
Like most important protagonists, Kenshiro began his journey to greatness as a young orphan.
Lucky for him, he eventually met Old Man Ryukin, who was a pretty cool dude. Ended up adopting Kenshiro along with a few other kids.
He was also the 63rd Denshosha.
Don't shoot what? It's on safety.
A grandmaster of an ancient Chinese martial art called Hokuto Shinken. While anyone can learn the basics of this dangerous fighting style, there can only ever be one grandmaster for each generation.
So that's what Kenshiro set out to be. And with patience, training, and plenty
Now
of
he's in his
building,
mid-20s.
He was named the next successor of Hakuna Matashin. Too bad his adopted brother got pissed he wasn't chosen and killed Ryukin over it. Talk about a sore loser.
With Hokuto Shinken mastered, Kenshiro can focus his energy into his strikes, effectively killing an opponent with a single blow to their pressure points.
Yep.
There are 708 malleable pressure points in the human body, and striking any of them can cause all sorts of effects. Stunning, blinding, healing, restoring memories, making people walk backward.
But mostly, they just make people explode. Anyway, things started looking pretty great for Kenny. He even got engaged. But then nuclear war broke out and turned the Earth into Mad Max land. Kenshiro's fiancée got kidnapped, and this guy used his knife fingers to draw a nifty Big Dipper on Kenshiro's chest. Seriously, how is he not dead after that?
Miraculously, Kenshiro survived and began his wayward journey, wandering the wasteland searching for revenge.
And if we go by how many people he blew up, I'd say he got plenty of it.
He really does leave a big mess behind. I can't even imagine what it must be like to clean up after one of his fights.
Kenshiro had no problem killing hordes of baddies with moves like his bone-crushing fist, spilling wheel-exploding fist, and 100 crack fist. Huh, seeing him kill all these people from the inside out reminds me a lot of my ex-wife.
What?
How?
How?
Emotionally, Wiz. Most of the time, his body explosions don't even happen right away.
The references he
Give me
makes
plenty
about
of
his
time to
ex-wife
explain
is
to
sometimes
his
gets
foes how they're
gets
about to
really
die
annoying.
right before they
Sometimes.
explode.
You think you can beat me with a finger?
That finger struck the hidden vital point known as Gakuchu. There's no use fighting now. You're already dead.
But Hakuna Matata isn't just for blowing up people.
Sure, Kenshiro has developed a number of legendary techniques.
Now, see,
such as
imagine
the
if somebody
Tenryu
said that to you
Kujo
and they just
AKA
touched your
the
forehead.
art of dragon
You thinking you
breathing.
won, and all of a sudden
According to Kenshiro,
he's saying
this unlocks
you're
the full
already dead.
potential of his natural abilities, where a normal fighter would only use about 30%.
He can utilize Toki, or his own natural ki, to perform numerous techniques. Most of these involve punching, of course, but he can also create mirage images of himself, sense other fighting auras, and fire ki-based projectiles to attack or defend from a distance.
Oh, and he can perform miracles, like making a mute girl speak. How the heck?
But even that pales in comparison to Hokuto Shinken's ultimate technique, one which no previous Grandmaster ever unlocked, Muso Tensei. Only those who truly understand pain and loss can apply Muso Tensei. With it, Kenshiro draws upon his inner sadness to enter a state of nothingness. From here, he is impervious to attacks, essentially achieving intangibility.
He also somehow connects to the souls of dead allies and rivals, and can even use their techniques, but it's not like he needs them. He's already crazy enough on his own. He smashed the bones of a giant with a single hand, broke a metal table just by standing up, and hit a tank so hard it blew up.
He's even strong enough to break a skyscraper in half.
And then when it collapsed on top of him, he just walked through it. What a boss.
Just the concrete in one floor of an average-sized skyscraper can weigh over 1,000 tons.
And here we go with this map stuff.
You think that's
Let's
tough?
hope
Kenshiro
that it's
expanded
accurate.
in Lava! Lava! You know how hot lava is?
Up to 2,000.
Yeah, really freaking hot, that's what. And remember that tank? Before he blew it up, it shot him square on. It did absolutely nothing to him. Seriously, this guy is manly as hell.
お前はもう死んでいる。
You're already dead.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, these guys are so stylish, you know they're rocking MeUndies. Battle!
く誰だおめえは。おいジジイ、やるっていうのなら相手になろう。
場所を選ぶ。そこが貴様の死に場所だ。
やっぱりお前は態度がでかいな。
Holy shit! It was already over the moment he touched him.
Oh 時を止めた。
お前はもう死んでいる。何？Son of a bitch! KO!
やれやれ。
Whoa, wait, what just happened?
Well, all Kenshiro needed to do to win was just get one hit in. But this matchup was far closer than that makes it seem.
Of course it was. Kenshiro spent the whole time fighting Star Platinum, who he couldn't even see. Lucky for him, once he figured that out, his ability to sense other fighting auras helped him keep track of SP. But no matter what he did, Kenshiro isn't a stand user, so he couldn't actually hurt Star Platinum.
Then again, Star Platinum's own strength wasn't quite enough to hurt Kenshiro much either. One of Star Platinum's greatest strength feats involves breaking and throwing a small section of a building. In comparison, Kenshiro broke an entire building, let it fall on him, and acted like it wasn't even there.
Also, while Jotaro may be skilled in deducing his enemy's weaknesses and strategies in mid-fight, Kenshiro's skills, durability, and straightforward approach meant there really wasn't anything for him to pick apart here.
Kenshiro did have trouble with Jotaro's time stopping and Star Platinum's speed. However, with his awesome durability plus additional intangibility when using Musou Tensei, Kenshiro survived the time stops. And the time stops cooldowns between uses gave Kenshiro enough time to work around them.
The time stop has been worked around by foes in Jotaro's past before, and as far as speed was concerned, Kenshiro may not have been faster than Star, but a mix of Musou Tensei and Mirage clones were more than enough to get by. And let's be real, Jotaro never stood a chance against Kenshiro by himself.
In the end, both combatants had plenty of advantages, but Kenshiro's techniques and overwhelming power ended this fight.
Jojo didn't stand a chance.
The winner is Kenshiro.
Okay. Well, now we see the conclusion of that fight. But now, for the surprise of this whole entire video featuring this fight, we're going to have a look at, again, Seth the programmer, and as he explains, as well as he and his friends explain, hopefully, what they have found in the fight to in this whole calculation from screw attack to be a little jank. So we're gonna go into that. All right, here we go.
So I've been wanting to talk about JoJo for quite a while now, ever since I finished the anime, and I started on JoJo Part 5. And this is like the perfect opportunity for me to kind of slide into JoJo on YouTube. And I found that this death battle was just absolutely atrocious. Like, with Naruto or Dragon Ball or anything of the sort, you can tell that death battles kind of being a little bit more edgy, right? They're a little bit more on guard about it. But it seems like they kind of let their guard down and just kind of slew whatever shit they could on this death battle, and to make Kenshiro win when they couldn't come up with any like proper arguments to prove Kenshiro wins. And to be quite honest, Kenshiro is a lot more powerful than Jotaro. The way they went about this is stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain why it's complete misinformation and why their researcher should probably be fired. Like, it's 2018 and this is still happening. So basically, to start things off, they say that Jotaro punches Diamond. They say Jotaro has 3 million tons of attack potency, and that Kenshiro should destroy Jotaro because Kenshiro tanks 1,000 tons of a building level falling on him. I don't know if you know this or not, Screw Attack, or what's his name, Nick, the researcher that made these arguments, but 3 million is a lot larger than 1,000 by a pretty substantial margin. I don't know I don't know how much I need to point that out.
Very true.
And then they also said 100 punches in a few seconds for Kenshiro. Now, you'll notice throughout the video they kind of avoided talking about Kenshiro's speed, and they did it for good reason. I'm going to get more of that later, but 100 punches in a few seconds for Kenshiro, and Jotaro is arguably light speed with Star Platinum, and they say he's arguably light speed using Zawordo, even though Zawordo is not what Jotaro used to fight Silver Chariot or Polnareff the first time. So that argument is weird. But basically what you have here is 3 million tons versus 1,000 tons, arguably light speed versus arguably Mach. Yet the one that's almost thousands of times weaker and millions possibly billions of times slower, if not far more, wins due to pure combat headcanon. So Screw Attack's argument isn't even consistent within itself. Like, I can understand, like, oh, Seth, you know, not everybody knows about all this scaling, blah, 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 but you should at least be, like, mentally consistent within your own argument. Like, how are you going to tell me 5 is greater than 3? Like, it's just, once you make up your own calcs, I get it, you make up your own calcs, but you should still realize that one number is larger than another, and it needs to explaining, right? It doesn't, that doesn't make any sense. But to getting onto, like, the proper debunk, just kind of outside of their own stupidity, they claim that diamonds give Jotaro 3 million tons of force. I don't know where they got this video from of, like, this hydraulic pressing a diamond. I've looked everywhere for videos on this, and most of these videos are fake, because I hate to break it to you, but the largest diamonds in the world are, like, basically hand-sized. So if this diamond is legit that big, that diamond's worth, like, millions of dollars, and would be like almost priceless, especially because it's perfectly cut as well. So not only did this, you know, video get the largest one of the largest diamonds on the planet, it was a perfectly cut largest diamond on the planet, and then they just squished it for science. So I don't know if I need to explain why that's why I'm skeptical about that, and I'd like to see a source. Also,
Hey, broke it.
but as you can see, this grown old man clearly has millions of tons of attack potency because he's breaking this diamond with a hammer. But jokes aside, diamonds are very scratch resistant, but they are also extremely brittle. So they can be crushed or dismantled relatively easily. I thought that was like middle school knowledge, but I guess not. This video that they showed seems to be like some kind of polymer, not really a actual diamond. I would like to see the source of that for sure. They also kind of brought up a no limit stand fallacy. So they didn't really go with it per se, but they didn't try to debunk it either, which is very interesting because in their Naruto versus Ichigo video, they went out of their way to debunk planetary Ichigo and Naruto for no reason. But they didn't bother debunking the no limit stand fallacy. This kind of went with it. So no limits fallacy is where you say that something is unbeatable because it hasn't never been beaten before. So, well, for example, this sword can cut through everything.
Right.
In a verse where everyone's basically only able to chop down trees or something. So, you know what? You see someone who's just outerversal, just completely not even bound by the concepts of dimensions or space. And you know what? My tree level sword, since it's never been shown not to be able to cut through something, it just cuts through infinite infinities and beyond. It just goes full Buzz Lightyear on this dude and chops him in half because no limits though. And it's also like with the no limits for stands is very interesting because stands will throw buildings at each other or bulldozers, which is basically just like the environment or nature. It has nothing to do with the stand, and it hurts other stands. Well, that's clearly a stand hurting a stand, right? So it is a little bit weird to kind of go with that assumption. It's kind of like, okay, put the stand user inside of a bubble, okay? It's a invulnerable bubble, and then his stand is outside of the bubble. So the user of the stand is safe, the stand is outside. And then this being comes in, and remind you, this stand is basically just like building level, right? If a building falls on top of it, it's gonna get hurt. This being comes into the universe, and he just wipes the universe of everything but the guy in the bubble. Are you gonna tell me that this building level stand is going to survive the universe being erased because the guy that's erased the universe isn't a stand? Very, very, interesting stance you would have to take there. So other than that, they kind of try to downplay Star Platinum's, I would like to say IQ here. It's more like combat experience, but it's a bit of both because they bring up the rat scene from JoJo Part 4, and I've gotten to a lot of arguments with people about this, but it's basically the reason why JoJo Part 4 was almost ruined for me because it was just so badly written. It made no sense at all, and I'm going to explain it real quick. So what happens in this rat scene is Jotaro and Josuke from Part 4 and meet this rat that has a stand of its own, and the rat takes cover behind this rock, and it's like sniping Jotaro and Josuke. And Jotaro's like, all right, I'll run up the hill and get its attention.
Oh,
and
bless
you try
me.
to snipe it with your stand with some bullets I have here. Now, it's like, okay, first of all, this premise is very strange. These characters do move at the speed of light, which I'm going to be proving right after this, by the way. If you don't know, the speed of light lets you travel around the entire planet 7 times in 1 second. Jotaro,
Excuse me.
speed of light, and he can pause time for 2 through 5 seconds.
Right.
Meaning he can move around the planet, or he has enough speed to move around the planet 14 through 35 times in a second. Now, his stand doesn't have the range for that, but that's just like the level of speed we're dealing with here. And it should also be noted that Jotaro comes from, you know, the Joestars, and he's basically a rival to Joseph in his prime, at least IQ-wise. And Joseph was able to outsmart the Pillar Men, whose IQs were absolutely retardedly high. Like, even like their watchdog, like Pillar Men, like the lowest of the low, was able to learn an entire language by hearing a few words, which is literally impossible. And then Cars had an IQ of like 400. So here you have Jotaro, who can move at the speed of light, if not greater, as I'm going to prove later. And he's able to stop time to dodge these needles this rat is blowing at him. So he stops time, right? He stops time to dodge the needles. So you're telling me this guy with an IQ probably like 300 is stopping time at the speed of light, sees the trajectory of the needle, but can't figure out where the rat is by himself and then blitz over behind the rock? It's just, it's ridiculous. And I understand that the author of, you know, JoJo is trying to go for, well, power of a stand isn't everything. Sometimes you need strategy and friendship, and yeah, but the scene just does not make sense, and it is not a valid retort to Jotaro's like combat ability whatsoever. It's pure plot-induced stupidity, and it's terrible writing. You're never gonna convince me otherwise. And now, getting on to the Lightspeed Jotaro thing, it's very interesting that Screw Attack kind of used, they kind of copped out. They're like, yeah, the guide here that we just pointed out on the screen, yeah, it says Jotaro's faster than light, but, oh, yeah, Polnareff, he intercepted a light speed attack. Well, if he's really the speed of light, then, why did he need a plan to catch him? That was their whole argument. And for one, I would just like to say that you have used a guide to say someone's light speed before. You literally said Naruto was the speed of light just because it said, like, he dodged the light fang in the 4th data book, but Polnareff intercepting a light speed attack just like kind of Naruto did with an attack confirmed the speed of light. It's almost the same thing, if not way, way, way more in Polnareff's favor, because Polnareff had to go a longer distance than the speed of light had to there. And if you watch the anime for Polnareff, it slows down and you see the beam of light moving slowly through the screen, and then Polnareff just zips onto the screen with Silver Chariot. Like, faster, he travels faster than the beam of light on frame. But Naruto just kind of aim dodging the light fang, which I've proven is still light speed reaction, but still is supposed to be a better feat. And not only that, but Silver Chariot is wearing armor here, so when he takes his armor, he becomes even faster. And then the guide just says Jotaro's faster than the speed of light, and then you just say no. So that's bad. That's bad. I understand why they're doing it once again, and it's because Kenshiro has no speed feats. I also watched Screw Attack's like post death battle recording. You know, it's like their little meeting they always have afterwards, and they're talking about, you know, Star Platinum was the speed of light, and they kind of doubled down on their ignorance. You know, they went into detail. They're like, oh, well, you know, guides aren't always, you know, the word of law, but it kind of applies as to what I said before. It's like, well, you've accepted way less before. You've
True.
accepted way lesser forms of evidence. Like, with Naruto, it's like, in the 4th data book, he dodged the Light Fang. But in that same data book, it says the Light Fang is undodgeable. So it's like, yeah, it's probably the speed of light, and he did dodge it, but how is that more evidence than Paul Naref dodging the speed of light or intercepting it from a longer distance as a actual feat and not just a subjective dodging reaction time feat? I do not see the logic or train of logic here at all. It's pretty ridiculous, and no, time stop is not what's the speed of light. When you stop time, you stop time. So, for example, it's not the speed of light, because if it was the speed of light, you know, Dio wouldn't be like, oh, Jotaro moved or whatever, and time stop. He would just be like, it should be frozen. Everything should be absolutely motionless. There should be no movement. I mean, you could say that things at the speed of light make everything look motionless, but not when you're fighting a fighter who's relative to your speed. That just doesn't make any sense at all. So I guess now I'll kind of touch up on the death battle and what I think myself. What do I think about Kenshiro versus Jotaro, right? And personally, I have to say that the 1,000-ton durability feat for Kenshiro is absolute downplay. It's not even in the manga. That's anime filler only, and I don't know what everyone thinks about anime filler. It's kind of different for each anime. So like Dragon Ball Super's anime is canon, Dragon Ball Kai is canon. But then again, like Naruto has an anime and only some parts of it are canon. And it's like, what about Fist of the North Star? Is its anime even canon? Can you prove it is? And it's just very, very hard to do so. A better way to go about it is that many characters, or there have been characters in Fist of the North Star that have tanked nuclear bombs. And by scaling, you know, Ryu is way stronger than them. And Kenshiro is able to beat, you know, Ryu with like 30% power, even though he scales to be higher than a character. I think it was Jing who tanked a nuclear bomb, which is multiple megatons of force, by the way, possibly higher. And also, Ryu was also capable of creating a supercell cloud, which may be, you know, scalable to have enough energy level. Cloud, which may be, you know, scalable to have enough energy as a country level attack in terms of just raw energy. Like, I don't know if you guys know how many, you know, how much energy, you know, hurricanes or massive tornadoes have, but it's absolutely astronomical. And I'll put a few calcs in the description if you guys are interested in learning more about that. But there's also some speed feats as well to go over. So they said, you know, Kenshiro, they just kind of slapped it out because, like I said before, they don't want to go over speed because the normies will then, you know, not think their death battle is the ultimate answer to the battle. You know, they have to be the last person, you know, to say anything. So the 100 punches in a few seconds is ridiculous when you consider the fact that Kenshiro has casually slapped out thousands of pressure points in an instant on panel. It's like literally stated. And there also is a nice speed feat as well where Kenshiro attacks Zongwu, and Zongwu notices the attack hits him after the attack is already drawing blood from his head. And, you know, the skin's only so, you know, skin is only so thin, so there's only so much space left before this attack hurts, you know, Zongwu. Then he proceeds to dodge the attack, which was stated a hair's breadth away from killing him, and then attempts to hit Kenshiro after dodging a good distance away. And even if you assumed Kenshiro was suppressed and only moving at like subsonic speeds, which is the low ball for being faster than the eye can process information in quick succession, this would require hypersonic speeds depending on how you calc it due to the minimal amount of space Zong had to react in and how far he moved from the strike afterwards. Kenshiro even leaves behind a physical afterimage while only using a fraction of his abilities. So, in the end, for me, this battle is kind of like a T-Rex chasing around a fly, right? The fly can dodge around for however long it wants, but the fly is never going to hurt the T-Rex. It can try, it never will. And the fly will die from its own stamina loss within at least a day or two. And this T-Rex, as stated in the data books, has 3 months of stamina versus, you know, this fly that has like a day's worth at most if you highball it. So that's the battle. Kenshiro even if you say he can't hit, Jotaro, if it's to the death, he's going to win the battle of attrition. Jotaro cannot create any plan to kill Kenshiro. It's basically impossible. Unless you state that they have this crazy battlefield and he can like construct some device after running away, even though that's basically Jotaro's speed is only really in combat, not travel, because Star Platinum can only move 6 meters. So it's not like he can really run away from Kenshiro that much either. And yeah, it's just not looking good for Jotaro. Yeah, I agree Kenshiro wins, but the way this death battle went about it is completely ridiculous. Anyways, I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I might do some more in the future. So, till next time.
Yeah, thank you for that, Seth. But yeah, that was really surprising. I wasn't too surprised once I saw the video pop up to the the right of me once I saw the death battle. And I was like, oh, I guess he covered this too. But anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. What do you think about School Attack for one? I still enjoy the death battles, but as far as the counts go, they really proven to me that they don't. It's not as accurate as they would like to let you believe. Because now that we have a person, a YouTuber, a content creator who is debunking a lot of these death battles because of these power calcs, these calculations and all that, and they're determining and that's determining who is going to win. They still half-assing on it. So much for that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As such, this has been The Real Sakurai, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day. I'm out here. Peace.